Jaya Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna everyone. Welcome to the Sri Caitanya Caritamrita class. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jagannatha Seva Yata Rajapatra Yaitrika Loka Nilachala Bashi Jata Jana. He sprinkled the minds of the servants of Lord Jagannath, the government officers, the pilgrims, visitors, and the general populace, and all the residents of Jagannath Puri. Upon seeing the dancing and ecstatic love of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, everybody became astonished. In their hearts, they became infatuated with love of Godhead. Everyone danced and everyone chanted in ecstatic love, and a great noise resounded everywhere, and everyone was overwhelmed with transcendental bliss just to see the dancing of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Apart from others, even Lord Jagannath and Lord Baladev, with great happiness, began to move very slowly upon seeing the dancing of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Jagannath and Lord Balaram sometimes stopped the car and happily observed Lord Chaitanya's dancing. Anyone who was able to see them stop and watch the dancing bore witness to their pastimes. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing and wandering in this way, he fell down in front of Maharaj Prataparuja. Maharaj Prataparuja picked up the Lord with great respect, but upon seeing the king, Lord Chaitanya came to his external senses. After seeing the king, Lord Chaitanya condemned himself, saying, "Oh, how pitiful it is that I have touched a person who is interested in mundane affairs." Not even Lord Nityananda Prabhu, Kashishvara, Govinda took care of Lord Chaitanya when he fell down. Nityananda was in great ecstasy and Kashishvara and Govinda were elsewhere. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had already been satisfied by the king's behavior, for the king had accepted the menial service of a sweeper for Lord Jagannath. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually desired to see the king. However, just to warn his person associates, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, externally expressed feelings of anger. When Maharaj Prataparuja prayed to Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya, when Maharaj Prataparuja asked to see Lord Chaitanya, Mahaprabhu immediately refused, saying, "Nischantana Bhagavat Bhajaram Mukhasya Param Param Jagasmir Bhava Shagarasya Sandashanam Vishainam Ata Jyotsitcha Nahanta Hanta Visha Bhakshana Apasadu Chaitanya Chandrodaya Nataka 823." The word Niskinchanasya refers to a person who has finished his material activities. Such a person can begin to execute his activities in Krishna consciousness, to cross over the great ocean of nescience. It is very dangerous for persons who are. It is very dangerous for such person to have intimate relationship with mundane people or to become intimately related with women. This formality is to be observed by anyone who is serious about going back home, back to Godhead. to teach by his personal associates his principle. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu expressed external anger when being touched by the king, since the Lord was very much satisfied with the humble servitor of the king. He immediately allowed the king to touch him, but externally he expressed anger just to warn his personal associates. King Bhattacharya became frightened when Lord Chaitanya showed anger, but Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya told him to the king that, don't worry. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya informed the king, the Lord is very satisfied with you, pointing him out. He was teaching to his personal associates how to behave with mundane people. Although outwardly the king was a mundaner, he was a mundane man interested in money and women. Internally, he was purified by devotional activities. He showed this by engaging as a sweeper just to please Lord Jagannath. A person may appear to be a pound, shillings and pence man, interested in money and women, but factually he is very meek and humble and surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is not mundane. Such a judgment can be made only by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his very confidential devotees. As a general principle, however, no devotee should intimately mix with mundane people interested in money and women. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya continued, I shall submit your petition. When there is an opportune moment, then it will be easy for you to come and meet the Lord. After circumambulating Jagannath, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went behind the car and began pushing it with his head. As soon as he pushed the car, immediately started to move, making a rattling sound, a rattling noise. All the people around began to chant the holy name of the Lord. Hari, Hari! Hari. As the car began to move, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took his personal associates in front of the cars occupied by Lord Balaram and Subhadra, the goddess of fortune. Greatly inspired, he then began to dance in front of them. After finishing the dance before Lord Baladeva and Subhadra, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came before Lord Jagannath's car. Upon seeing Lord Jagannath, he began to dance again. When they reached the place called Balagandi, Lord Jagannath stopped his car and began to look left and right. On the left side, Lord Jagannath saw the neighborhood of the Brahmanas and the coconut tree grove. And on the right side, he saw nice flower gardens resembling those in the holy place of Vrindavan. Vipra Shashana, the word generally used in Orissa province to indicate the quarters where the Brahmanas live. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees were dancing in front of the car, and Lord Jagannath had stopped the car. Watch the dancing. It was customary that food be offered to the Lord at the Vipra Shashana. Indeed, innumerable dishes of food were offered, and Lord Jagannath tasted each one of them. All kinds of devotees of Lord Jagannath, from neophytes to the most advanced, offered their best cooked food to the Lord. These devotees included the kings, his queens, his ministers, and friends, and all other big and small residents of Jagannath Puri. All the visitors who have come from different countries to see Jagannath Puri, as well as local devotees, offered their personal cooked food to the Lord.
From different countries.
Sometimes they say that, meaning state. They have a different king, so for a state. So the devotees offered their food everywhere, in front of the car and behind it, and on two sides. with the flower garden. Wherever possible, they made their offerings, and for them there was no hard and fast rule. While the food was being offered, a large crowd of people gathered. At that time, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stopped his dancing and went to the nearby garden. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu entered the garden, immersed in great ecstatic emotion. He fell on a raised platform there. The Lord was very much fatigued, for he had from the hard labor of dancing, and there was perspiration all over his body. He therefore enjoyed the fragrant, cool breeze of the garden. All the devotees who had been performing Sankirtan came there and took rest under each and every tree. Thus I have described the great performance of the congregational chanting by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as he danced in front of Lord Jagannath. In his prayer known as the Caitanya Ashtakam by Rupa Goswami, he has given a vivid description of the Lord's dancing before the car at Jagannath. Srila Rupa Goswami composed 3 prayers entitled Caitanya Ashtakam. The next verse is quoted in text 7 and the first of the Chaitanya Ashtakam prayer, which is included in the book, the Stabamala. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced down the main road in great ecstasy. Before Lord Jagannath, the master of Nilachala, who was sitting on his car, overwhelmed by the transcendental bliss of dancing and surrounded by Vaishnavas who sang the holy name, he manifested waves of ecstatic love of Godhead. When will Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again be visible to my vision? 208. Anyone who hears the description of the car festival will attain Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and will also attain the elevated state by which he will have a conviction in the devotional service and love of Godhead. Praying at the lotus feet of Rupa and Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishna Das, narrate Sri Caitanya Caritamrita, following in their footsteps.
Some summary to this chapter? Something to summarize this chapter? Some summarizing words to this Sankirtan description?
Yeah, so this is the Lord has come to elaborate, expand the Sankirtan mission in this world as a Yuga Dharma. So it's an ideal Yuga Dharma because everybody likes to dance and everybody likes to sing. Kalo Sujabam Bhavi, Sambhavi, everyone is Suja. So the activities of a Suja, they like to dance, they like to sing. Mahaprabhu was not a Suja, but he was. But the general populace like to dance and sing, and these are the activities that the madhyagas, the suttas, the different types of living entities. They like to dance and chant as well. So everybody in Kali Yuga, they're sutras, so they like also to dance and chant. It's nice. And but here we get a little bit of bliss when we dance and chant, even the mundane person. But here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is showing what the real bliss is, what is real ecstasy. So he was showing this by his dancing. And it's a big thing in Krishna Lila also. Practically every night Krishna has a rasa dance. He dances with billions of gopis. So this goes on practically every night. So these are the activities of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he came to propagate this. And he showed by his own example. And who can be a better teacher than Srimati Radharani? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the mood of Srimati Radharani, is teaching us how to get ecstasy in this material world by chanting the Maha Mantra. Can produce a blissful state of existence. So Mahaprabhu was not only teaching us the Yugatam, but he became a practical example of dancing and chanting. When his students asked him, what is this Sankirtan you're talking about? So Mahaprabhu said, yes, easy. Left foot over right, right foot over left foot over right. And put your hands up and chant Hari Harayi Namo Krishna Jadavayi Namo Gopal Govindaram Srimadhu Sutam. That was it. It's quite simple. Anybody can do and chant. And by this, as we become purified, we attain ecstasies by the mercy of Panchatattva. So here Mahaprabhu has come to yeah. So then I stop halfway. I think this that Ramananda, where Ramananda Roy House is today in Jagannath Puri. I think that's the garden, that garden area there, or at least one of the gardens. But they used to take prasadam and take rest in there. So this is chapter 14, Madhya Lila, text number 1. Gaurapashan Atma Prindadai Sri Lakshmi Vijayatvam Shrutpagopa Rasalam Viriti Pramana Nartha Shah. Hare Krishna, I can see properly. Jaya Jaya Gaurachandra Sri Krishna Chaitanya Jaya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Dhanya. All glories to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, known as Gaurachandra. All glories to Lord Nityananda Prabhu. All glories to Advaita Acharya, who is so exalted. All glories to the devotees. All glories to the devotees headed by Srivas Thakur. All glories to the readers who have taken Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as their life and soul. Reward. While Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was resting in ecstatic love, you can rest in ecstatic love also. You can dance in ecstatic love, you can eat in ecstatic, you can even rest in ecstatic love. Prataparuja entered the garden. Following Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's instruction, the king had given up his royal dress and entered the garden in the dress of a Vaishnava. Purport. Sometimes, members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, especially in Western countries, find it difficult to approach people to distribute books because people are unfamiliar with the traditional saffron robes of the devotees. The devotees have therefore inquired whether they can wear European and American dress before the general public. From the instruction given to King Prataparuja by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, we can understand that we may change our dress in any way to facilitate our service. When our members change their dress to meet the public, or the books, or to introduce our books, they are not breaking devotional principles. The real principle is to spread the Krishna consciousness movement. And if one has to change his regular Western dress for this purpose, there should be no objection. But Prabhupada said if you dress as a Western, then dress as a fine, up-to-date European or an American gentleman. And he didn't like beards. He didn't like beards or moustaches. That was fashionable at that time, had long hair. So Prabhupada didn't want to relate his mission to the hippie movement. That was so shave head completely, and they did it. That's love. Someone tells you to shave your head. It's a big thing. Mahaprabhu, I never shaved my head completely before in my whole life. And especially at that time, 1960s, 1970s. Prabhupada said, shave your head. And we did it. He's not paying us or anything like that. But out of respect and love for Prabhupada's mission and the way he is establishing it, we gladly accept it. Actually, it was done with a glad heart because Prabhupada was giving us the truth. And we really appreciated him for it because no one else was giving. So therefore we gladly did anything he said. It's a fact. We risk our lives to establish Krishna consciousness under Prabhupada's guidance. Prabhupada and others, they advised, when Prabhupada went to America, they advised him you should dress up like local people. With a suit and tie and like that. As like a gentleman. But Prabhupada said, I didn't do it. Prabhupada he could command respect. He didn't have to shave his head or anything like that. But he did it to show how obedient that the disciples were. And once when one interviewer was asking Prabhupada this question, that question, Prabhupada was really disinterested in what he was saying. So he said, and these robes, Swamiji, I mean, you got these robes and things like that. What is this? This is kind of recognition. He said, yes, it's a recognition. Just like the policeman, he has a police uniform. So we have this, you can recognize. And then he said, oh yeah, maybe another time. Prabhupada said, no, why they shave their heads, Swamiji? Keep bald heads. Prabhupada said, it's very clean. Oh, that's the reason why you shave, because it's very clean. Yeah, Prabhupada said, yes, very clean. They could have been asking some fantastic questions and got some fantastic answers, and Prabhupada had to tolerate all this. But yes, keep the head very clean, and cool also. And that woman Mataji was, why do you keep short to shaved hair? Prabhupada said, why you wear short skirts? He said, better to have a cool head and hot legs, something like that. He was so tolerant, Prabhupada. But according to time and circumstance, the 11th canto, Sri Narad Muni said, deities, the Krishna consciousness can be spread according to the time and circumstances. So Prabhupada also, he took advantage of that, time and circumstances. So he wasn't 100% real. Then he was strict on hair, moustaches, don't grow moustaches. I was in Prabhupada's room here in Mayapur, and Chutananda Maharaj had just written his songbook, ISKCON songbook. He put Bhaktivinoda Thakur's songs and Narottam Das Thakur's, others, Vaishnava's songs. And he was in the process of producing another songbook with more songs. So he was showing Prabhupada. And then Prabhupada, he said, yes, that's okay. He said, if you want to make another songbook, he said, but, and the pictures in the front where you put the Guru, he said, no beards, don't have beards, because everyone had a beard practically in that first one, Gokishore and Bhaktivinoda. Maybe Bhakti's Tantra also, I think, in the songbook. But anyway, most of the parampara had beards. But he said, and then he said to him, no beards, don't put any beards on the parampara. He was frightened. Prabhupada will become hippies again. So merciful, so kind. Maharaj is text 6. Maharaj Prataparudra was so humble that with folded hands he first took permission from all the devotees. Then, with great courage, he fell down and touched the lotus feet of the Lord. As Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu lay on a raised platform with his eyes closed in the ecstasy of love and emotion, the king very expertly began to massage his legs. The king began to recite verses about the Rasa Lila from Srimad Bhagavatam. He recited the chapter beginning with the words, Jayati Te Dikam. In these verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 31, constitute what is known as Gopi Gita. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard these voices, he was pleased beyond limits. He said again and again, go on reciting, go on reciting. As soon as the king recited the verse beginning with the words, Tava Caithamritam, the Lord arose in ecstatic love and embraced him. Upon hearing the verse recited by the king, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you have given me invaluable gems, but I have nothing to give you in return. Therefore, I am simply embracing you. After saying this, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to recite the same verse again and again. Both the king and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were trembling and tears flowing from their eyes. Text 13 is Tava Caithamritam Tapta Jivanam Kavayuritam Kamo Shapaham Shravanamangalam Shimaratatam Bhuvi Granante Puri Rajana. Bhakti Trumara sings that nicely.
Translation.
My Lord, the nectar of your words and demonstration of your descriptions of your activities are the life and soul of those who are always aggrieved in the material world. These narrations are transmitted by exalted personalities, and they eradicate all sinful reactions. Whoever hears these narrations attains the good fortune. These narrations are broadcast all over the world and are filled with spiritual power. Those who spread the message of Godhead are certainly the most munificent welfare workers. After reciting this verse, Caitanya Mahaprabhu immediately embraced the king and cried, "You are the most munificent. You are the most munificent." At this point, Caitanya Mahaprabhu did not know who the king was. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy was aroused because of the king's previous service. Therefore, even without asking who he was, the Lord immediately bestowed his mercy upon him. How powerful is the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Without even inquiring about the king, the Lord made everything successful. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy was so powerful that it acted automatically. If a person who renders loving service to the king,
Krishna.
If a person renders loving service to Krishna, it never goes in vain. It is recommended in a spiritual account that in due time only, it is recommended that a spiritual account and in due time it will fructify. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Naya bikaram nasho si pratyayo jo jutaiti siyalpam api asha damasya chaiti mato bayat. In this endeavor there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement in this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had particularly bestowed upon all fallen souls the most potent method of devotional service, Sankirtan, the congregational chanting of the Lord's holy name. And whoever takes it through the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is immediately elevated to the transcendental position. As Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.32 recommends, Yagnai Shankitin Prayer Yachanti Hi Sumedasha. A student of Krishna consciousness must receive Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. Then his devotional service will quickly succeed. This was the case with Maharaj Prataparudra. Okay. One has to be noticed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and a little service with sincere effort will convince the Lord that one is a proper candidate for returning home back to Godhead. One has to be noticed by the Lord, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is our devotional practice. We're trying to be noticed by Krishna, by our devotional attitude. Not that we're demanding to be noticed, but by our devotional attitude We want to be noticed by the Lord, because when we're noticed by the Lord, then He will be very merciful very quickly.
How to get that? How to get that?
How to get that? By service. I remember first time I heard Prabhupada speaking in Calcutta, giving a lecture. He just arrived there, so he was giving a lecture. And he said, now, so you don't try to see God. And I was thinking, I thought that we were supposed to be doing. We're searching for God, we're searching for truth. So many. And I met this great saint, best one yet I've met, Prabhupada. And he's saying, don't try to see God. And I thought that was the whole thing. We seeking God. And then he said, but you don't try to see God, but you act in such a way that God will see you. In other words, you've got to be noticed. If you're noticed by God, that is your success. Anyhow, somehow or another, if you're noticed, you get success. Yeah, Krishna sees you by your devotional service, by devotional attitude. One who offers me is a love and devotion. Leaf, flower, water, I'll accept it. So Krishna gets noticed even if you offer him something small. Leaf, flower, water. But it's not the leaf, flower and water, it's the emotion behind it. Bhava grahaya janardana. With what emotion do you offer with? That is what Krishna likes. A student in Krishna consciousness must receive Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. Then his devotional service will quickly succeed. This was the case of King Prataparudra. One has to be noticed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and a little service with sincere efforts will convince the Lord that one is a proper candidate for returning back home, back to Godhead. At first, Maharaj Prataparudra did not have a chance to meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but when the Lord saw that the king was serving Lord Jagannath as a menial sweeper, the Lord's mercy upon the king became a solid fact. When Maharaj Prataparudra, in the dress of a Vaishnava, was serving the Lord did not even inquire who he was. Rather, he had compassion upon him and embraced him. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami wants to point out that nothing could compare to the Lord's mercy towards Maharaj Prataparudra. Therefore, he uses the word dekha, just see. And Caitanya Kripa Mahavala. How powerful is the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? It's also confirmed by Sri Prabodhananda Saraswati. Yat Karuna Kataksha Rayabam Padam. Even a little of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy serves as a great asset for spiritual advancement. And therefore the Krishna consciousness movement must be spread through the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Rupa Goswami was experiencing the mercy and magnanimity of Lord Chaitanya, he said, Namo Mahabhadanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namani Gaura Dusina. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya, who is more magnanimous than any other avatara, even Krishna himself, because he is bestowing freely what no one else ever came, and no one else had ever given, pure love of Krishna. Sri Lochandas Thakur also sung, Parama Karuna Baudu Vijan Nitai Gora Chandra. The two brothers, Nitai and Gora, are so kind that nothing can be compared with them. Similarly, Narottam Das Thakur had sung, Brajendra Nandana Jai Sachi Sutta Hoila Se Balarama Hoilio Nitai Dina Hina Jata Chilo Hari Nama Udharelo Tare Saksi Jagai Matai. Just to deliver all the simple persons of this age by propagating the chanting of the holy name, Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram have entered as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. Jagai and Madhya are evidence of their success. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's special mission is the deliverance of the fallen souls of Kali Yuga. Devotees of Krishna must persistently seek the favor and mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to become fit to return home, back to Godhead. Back to Godhead ki.
Yeah. Persistently seek favor. I like this line. In the last paragraph of the purport, is devotees of Krishna must persistently seek the favor and the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Well, which verse was it?
Verse,
Oh, the last.
yeah, last.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's special mission is the deliverance of all fallen souls of Kali Yuga. Devotees of Krishna must persistently seek the favor and mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to become fit to return home back to Godhead. What about it?
Like persistently seek, not just once or twice. Persistent. I like that word. Purpose words there.
Persistently. Persistently means all the time. We must be praying for the mercy, seeking the mercy. No, it's a lifelong process. Surrendering to Krishna is moment by moment process, but this goes on for a whole life. We've been taken to the process of devotional service. We never stop our devotional service. Persistently, because this is the way the mercy comes through the seva. Not that Krishna needs anything, but the service becomes a medium to express our love for Krishna. So if we can perform our service with devotion, with emotion, then somehow or another we try to please the Lord by being fixed in devotional service at all time. Then we're guaranteed to go back to Godhead. because we don't know anything else but the service of the Lord. But anyway, you can get it. If you see, what is it? If you see the holy name in the marketplace, purchase it at any price. Is that right? Purchase it at any price. If you see an ordinary here in the marketplace, you hear the word Krishna. That person is not an ordinary person, although whoever chanted that, he's not an ordinary person. So similarly, by chanting Hare Krishna, or any name of Krishna, through even jokingly, you can evoke the attraction of Krishna. Oh, we read the other day that the thief, he went to steal all of Krishna's jewels. He heard about him in the Bhagavatam class. Krishna is in the forest with boys, and he's got jewels and gold, and easy pick. So he went there with his intention to see Krishna. I'm going to Vrindavan to see Krishna. So he was chanting Krishna's name. Or he was saying, I'm going to see Krishna. He was thinking, I'm going to see Krishna. Yeah, I'm going to Vrindavan to see Krishna. So that is the proper attitude. We should always be like that. We're going to Vrindavan. Why? To see Krishna. But anyway, you get the secondary names, you get primary names of Krishna. Somehow or another, however you can get it, that's a good thing. Take it at any price. I think I got some mercy one time from in my travels. I was in Istanbul. Yeah, I just read. Somebody showed me something in the Bible. And I was reading it, and it was from Saint John. And he said that love not the world nor the things of the world, for the lust of the flesh and the pride of the life are not of the Father, they are of the world, and the world will pass away herein, and the love there also. In other words, devotional service is eternal. But you shouldn't love this world, which is temporary, a temporary place. So love not the world, nor the things of the world. But he who doeth the will of the Lord, he abides forever. Who engages in the service of the Lord, he'll abide forever. Ever. He'll become eternal. But at that time, we were supposed to be lovers of the world. But love was a big thing in those days. Want to give love, share love. It's a part of the philosophy. And then in the Bible it says, love not the world. I thought we were supposed to be loving the world. So anyway, I was a little bit confused. Why it's saying that, love not the world? Because it's temporary. And I was there, I was in Istanbul, and I thought, I pray to God. I just come back from India first time. And I was reflecting on my travels and everything. And then I saw this verse. So I thought I'll pray to God. There can only be one God. But like, when you going through Europe, it's all Christian, it's all Jesus, it's all Mary. The only way you come into Istanbul, Turkey, it's Allah is the only way. All the way through Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan, it's all Allah is the only way. So we're just reflecting on my travels. And I thought, there can only be one God. How can there be many gods? So I went to in Istanbul, the big, beautiful blue mosque there, beautiful blue dome. We have a big blue dome there, TOVP. And inside is known for its stained glass and everything. But mostly tourists are going there, I think. Anyway, it's very beautiful. And I went there and I thought I prayed to God. So I said, I don't know how to pray. I've never really prayed before. So I looked around and saw the Muslims how they're praying. So I was imitating them. So I was kneeling down and I was like this, like that, mudra. I don't know what mudra is. But so I prayed. I said, now, I don't even know which name to use of God. I'm going to pray to God, but I never really thought about it before. What name, how do I call him? So I thought, well, he must be the Almighty Creator. He must be the creator of everything. That sounds like God. He creates. I'll call him the Almighty Creator. So in my prayer I called, O Almighty Creator. I said, there can only be one God. There cannot be many gods. So please give me a sign that I will. So I said the name of God, the Almighty Creator is one of, what do you say in Sanskrit? Almighty, Param Creator, Ishwar, Supreme Creator. Anyway, it was one of God's names. So please give me a sign. So I think Krishna, God was laughing at me to see me sitting in this mosque. I didn't know what I was doing. I had little fez also, Muslims used to wear those fez. I think they got banned later. I had a fez and I was dressed all weird. And there I was praying, and I think God must be, I thought after that, he must be laughing at me. And I'm offering prayer. But he answered the prayer, and I started to see, like things started happening, and I was just thinking that, and it was like a stage of instant karma, As soon as you think of something, I'm walking down the road, and there's a guy selling sweets and stuff, little in the middle of the road, and he said, "Yeah, buy some sweets." I said, "I can't. I've got no money. Got no money. I'm stranded and waiting for something." "Oh yeah, give it." I was just thinking, "Oh, sweets." Yeah, but see, when you got no money, you don't buy sweets. It's a luxury. I haven't had sweets for quite a few days, long time. I'd like to have sweet. I was just saying like that, and then the guy said, "Take sweet." I said, "I got no money." He said, "Yeah." No, I was saying, "Well, I was just asking." I'd like that. And like that, I kept getting, things were just happening, and I thought, it became a little bit uncanny. It became a little bit uncanny, and then I thought, there is someone up there. There is someone up there who's doing all this. It's not me who's doing all this. It's going on by a superior. So I received the mercy of the Lord. I started to feel the presence of the Lord. And anyway, for some time, but I think Krishna got a laugh out of it. he made him laugh with something very, somehow or another he became attracted. And then when I got back to England, and I looked in one Bible someone had, and I looked in the introduction, and it said, there are many names of God. You can use any of these names of God, but for beginning, here are some names we recommend, and said God, the Creator, and then it said the Almighty Creator as a name of God. They recommended. You know, there's when you get all that tingling over your body, you feel, oh, that's the name I chose. Look, and the Almighty Creator. So the name, I chanted the name, it's one of the opulent names of God, it's a secondary name, the Creator, not intimate, but still we can please the Lord, we can get His mercy from the Lord by chanting the holy name, even the secondary names. And I think Krishna was just laughing, Allah, he was this temple. I think he was just singing the sleepy boys, give me a sign, God. But somehow or another he gave a sign, so just to give me encouragement. So then spiritual life really took off at that time. Then I had that philosophical change in life, and I got to find the truth. Who was that? What was I feeling? Who was that? What I was feeling? Who was it? I have to find him. So I came back again with my Bangajangi to make a longer search. But Krishna gives you that inspiration. Yeah. So if somehow or another, if God can notice you, don't try to see God, but act in such a way that God will see you. Hare Krishna.
Jai. Jai.
Text 17. Finally, Caitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Who are you? You have done so much for me. All of a sudden you have come here and made me drink the nectar of the pastimes of Lord Krishna." The king replied, "My lord, I am the most obedient servant of your servants. It is my ambition that you will accept me as the servant of your servants." Purport: the greatest achievement for a devotee is to become servant of the Lord. Actually, no one should desire to become a direct servant of Krishna. That is not a very good idea. When Prahlad Maharaj was offered the benediction by Nrsimhadeva, Prahlad rejected all kinds of material benedictions, but he prayed to become the servant of the Lord. When Dhruva Maharaj was offered a kingdom, he was offered a benediction by Kuvera, the treasurer of the demigods. Dhruva could have asked for unlimited material opulences, but he simply asks for the benediction of becoming the servant of the Lord. Kolavata Sridhar was a very poor man, but when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to give him a benediction, he also prayed to the Lord to be allowed to remain as servant of the Lord. The conclusion is that being a servant of the personality of Godhead is the highest benediction one can desire. Vivo. This is also in the prayers that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recited, I think, Padma Purana. Naham Brichanarpati Nabhaishana Shujo. I'm not a Brahmana Khatriya Vaishya Shuta Panaprasanyas Grihastha Brahmachari. I identify myself only as the servant of the servant, of the master of the gopis, Gopinath. So we are the servant of Gopinathji. That's a self-realization in one shloka. if you accept and you want to be a follower of Lord Chaitanya. Text 19. At that time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu displayed some of his divine opulences to the king, and he forbade him to disclose this to anyone. Although within his heart, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew everything that was happening, externally he did not disclose it, and nor did he disclose that he knew he was talking to King Pataparudra. Seeing the Lord's special mercy on King Pataparudra, the devotees praised the king's good fortune, and their minds became open and blissful. This is a characteristic of a Vaishnava. He is never envious. Never envious if other devotees receive the mercy and strength of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. A pure devotee is very happy to see a person elevated in devotional service. Unfortunately, there are many so-called Vaishnavas who become envious to see someone recognized by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is a fact that no one can preach Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's message without receiving the special mercy of the Lord. This is known to every Vaishnava. Yet there are some envious people who cannot tolerate the expansions of Krishna consciousness movement, who cannot tolerate the expansion of the Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. They find fault with the preacher who has spread this movement and do not praise him for his excellent service he has rendered in fulfilling Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. I'll read that again. This is known to every Vaishnava. No one can preach the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's message without receiving the special mercy of the Lord. This is known to every Vaishnava, yet there are some envious people who cannot tolerate the expansion of the Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. They find fault in the preacher who has spread the movement and do not praise him for his excellent service he has rendered in fulfilling Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. Prabhupada said that this is the Mahaprabhu's order, Viti Priti Chatavaganagara Dikram Savatra Prachahoi Bimoranam. Every town and village in the world, the holy names will be heard, will be spread. Every town and village of the world. So this is the prediction of the Lord. So those who fulfill this desire of the Lord, they're very dear to the Lord, and so they can receive his benedictions and blessings easily, fulfilling this desire. But some people criticize. Why have you made these people brahmanas? They're coming from Malachadas and Prabhupada, giving them second initiation. Why are you doing that? Why you give them sannyas? You're spoiling the whole thing. Because these like smarta brahmanas and others, they thought they would monopolize the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the spiritual teaching because of their born in a Brahman family. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said it's by quality. Chatur varnam maya srishtam gunakama. Because by qualities and work, not by birth, we are determining who is the Brahmana. So Prabhupada said they are supposed to be doing, the Brahmanas, especially those born in Goswami families, it's their duty to spread this mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the world. But they don't do it. So I'm doing it, and when I do it, they criticize. What is this? They don't do it, which they are supposed to be doing. And when I do it and I'm successful, then they criticize. So this is the state of affairs we Prabhupada had to work with. Nevertheless, he was so powerful in his preaching that he's Bhaktisiddhanta and practically we don't have that problem so much now because Prabhupada and Bhaktisiddhanta especially, he drove out this casteism understanding. Anyway, it's a shame that they don't see the greatness of the great Vaishnava. Gopal Chapala, was it? He didn't believe Haridas Thakur. How you can say that holy name resemblance, the shadow of it, that can give liberation. Sudras are speaking. He was identifying Haridas as a Sudra. It's true, all these things in the Kali Yuga, it says it that the Sudras rule. The Sudras rule. Anyway, take the positions of the Brahmanas. But anyway, Prabhupada did it. He didn't let the dogs bark. The caravan will continue on. Submissively offering prayers to the devotees with folded hands and offering obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the king went outside. After this, Bandinath Roy bought all kinds of prasadam, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted lunch with all devotees. The king also sent a large quantity of prasadam through Sabhabhuma Bhattacharya, Ramananda Roy and Bandinath Roy. The prasadam sent by the king had been offered to the Palagandi festival and included uncooked milk products and fruits. It was all of the best quality, and there was no end to the variety.
Uncooked milk products are?
I don't know. Uncooked milk products. And fruits. Uncooked food like milk is the translation. Like milk, he said. That cooked food means rice and dal and sabji, fruits and rice. Rice is not considered cooked food, is it? Anyway, then it's referring to grains, cooked grains, and other foods are more or less uncooked. Fruits and others, and milk. Do we finish now, or?
A few more verses. We finish at verse 30. The
prasadam sent by the king had been offered to. There was curds, fruits, juice, coconut, mango, dried coconut, jackfruit, various kinds of bananas, and palm fruit seeds. Dates. There were oranges, grapefruits, tangerines, almonds, dried fruits, raisins, and dates. There were hundreds of different types of sweetmeats, like Manohara Laddu, sweets like Amrita Guptika, and various types of condensed milk. There was also papaya and saraswati, a type of orange, and also crushed squash, There's also regular cream, fried cream, and a type of puri made with cream. There were also sweets known as haribalo, the sweets made of scented flowers, kapura flowers, and malati flowers. There were pomegranates, sweets made with black pepper, sweets made with fused sugar, and amriti jalebi. Jalebi?
Yeah.
Amriti jalebi. Kaja. Padmachini, sugar made from the lotus flowers.
Wow.
Wow, never seen that before. There were sugar candy sweets formed into the shape of orange, lemon, and mango trees, and orange arranged with fruits, flowers, and leaves. There were yogurt, milk, butter, buttermilk, fruit juice, preparations made of fried yogurt and sugar candy, and salty mung dal sprouts with shredded ginger. Mung dal. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati used to make this for distribution. I mean, get some prasad. They would come, he would say, you can distribute this. It was a muk dal. Salty muk dal and shredded ginger. I'm not sure if it was muk dal or chola. But soaked in water, then add some ginger, shredded ginger, and what else did they put in that? Some black salt, I think. So it's easy to prepare. You just soak the seeds overnight or whenever. They just had no cooking involved or anything like that. So he used to distribute that. And Prabhupada said also we can distribute here. I believe he said that. Oh, we tried it one time. Yeah, I can't remember. Anyway. There are also various types of pickles, lemons, lemon pickle, berry pickle, and so on. Indeed, I'm not able to describe the variety of food offered to Lord Jagannath. In verse 26 to 34, the author has described the various foods offered to the Lord Jagannath. He has described them as far as possible, but he finally admits his inability to describe them completely. When Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu saw the half-filled garden filled with a variety of prasadam, he was very satisfied.
One way to satisfy Lord Chaitanya. One way to satisfy Lord Chaitanya.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Sri Chaitanya Caritamrita Ki Jai Sri Prabhupada Ki Jai Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Nitai Go Premanandi Hare Hare